So in this video we're going to finish up with the 3D printing, or at least get through the process of 3D printing. So in the last video you made the 3D part, you export it as an STL, and STL is what the 3D printing software reads. And so on your computer you're going to have to go find this Elegoo Cura, and you're going to double click on that and open it. When it opens you get something that looks like this. This is the printer base right here. This is how tall they will print. Hopefully, and it should be this way, yours is set up. It should be set up for Elegoo Neptune 3 Pro. That's our printer. If it isn't, just call me over and I'll gladly help you get that set up. So it is set up for that one. Now really quickly, a couple of things about it. These are all the things that you can change. There's a custom setting. We don't really mess with custom settings here at the school because we're just 3D printing some easy stuff. Profiles right here, this is the layers, so how thin each slice of the part is. The skinnier the layer, the more detailed it is, but the longer it's going to take because it's going to take more layers. So for example, 0.12 would take double the amount of time that 0.24 does, because 0.24 is double the thickness of it. There are a couple of settings for 0.2 right here. If you hover over them, sometimes they'll tell you one is fast, one is medium, and one's more finer detail. Basically, if you leave it on any one of these, like right here, it's fine fast, fine quality, and then fine strength if you want it to be a little bit stronger. I never can remember, all the 3D printers have different settings for these ones. Usually with all of these parts, since they are small, they're 1/8 of an inch thick, we're going to have them at 0.16. Infill is how much plastic to air there is. So plastic being whatever this is right now, which is 20%. Right here is 10%. There is a way that you can always type it in, but I just usually stick on the buttons because it's a lot easier to click. Really no reason to go 100%. Most times if it's going to go 100%, I'll automatically do it anyways. And so for keychains, I just stick with 50%. 50% is perfectly fine for that one. Support is like if you need to build something up, if something's going to overhang. Again, you have a keychain, it's going to be flat on the piece or something flat. We're going to leave that one off. Adhesion we stick on just because it's a smaller part. Adhesion makes it a little bit larger so that you don't have to, so it sticks down to the corners a little bit better. Up here is the type of filament. We leave it on PLA. Over here is where we load it in. So you hit the open folder, you go find your part. So my part was saved on our desktop, depending on wherever you saved on your computer. And you're going to hit Chevy Keychain. You're going to open. Again, if everything's saved correctly, it should open to the correct size. If you want to change things, click on the part. Right here is the location of it, so you can move it side to side. You really don't want to go any up and downs because it's going to remove it from the build plate. You can always change this back to 0. 0, 0, 0 is all the center of the object. The 2 jugs is the size of it, so if you wanted to size it larger, say I thought this was too small, I want to go 150%, makes it 150. It's going to change all 3 of them because uniform scaling's on. Again, not really messing with any of this stuff. Should pretty much preload. If we needed to rotate it, say we wanted to print in a different orientation, so we wanted to print it straight up and down, we could set it that way. It'll automatically level it to the build plate. In this case, we don't want to, so I'm just going to set it back to 0, lowers it back down to the build plate. These other ones don't really mess with, especially until you're into a later class. Anyways, there are ways to create parts in the program versus like a drafting software. Some of those are. And then some take support off in different places. Again, not really messing with much of this stuff. From here, once we have these settings kind of set in stone, we hit slice. That's going to run through the process of cutting it. Mine's going to take roughly 7 minutes. It tells me how much filament it's going to use, so 2 grams or 0.54 meters. It's almost half a meter. That would be like, well, a meter is roughly a yard, so 3 feet divided by, it'd be about 1.5 feet of filament to do this. Right here, we're going to hit preview. And I'll take us under this section here. If you really want to, you can hit prepare or preview and go back and forth. But if I zoom in to look at this stuff, and if you hold the scroll wheel, you can actually bring it back in the center. And then this side allows us to see all the layers of it. So as we bring this down, you can kind of see how the system is cutting into this one. The one underneath here, this shows us the printer and how it goes around and around and around, does each layer and builds it. But anyways, that's kind of all there. There's a couple of different ones it says TFT file. Hopefully yours will get set to this one. If not, if it says TFT, click this arrow, go to save to file. So I should say save to file. Save to file, and we're just going to put this on the desktop. The next video goes through on how to plug in the USB, put it on a USB, export the USB properly. But right now, this is what we need to do. Make sure it has, I would put your name, Keychain, instead of Chevy Keychain, just put your name or your initials, Keychain, just so it's something that when we take it over to the file, there's lots of kids' stuff on there. I would just have that one on there as well. But anyways, save it to your desktop. It should be a G-code file, and just hit save. Just double check. If I shrink out of that, these are some other parts that I've been making. There's the original Chevy Keychain. Right there is the EN3 Pro. So enter